Hello everyone, my name is Crimson and welcome back to another random video. This time I'm just covering a sort of update for what I'm doing this year and kind of to also catch up on last year a little bit. So at the beginning of last year, I had made a couple of videos talking about a devlog for two games I was working on. One of them was going to be a remake of my very first story, the febuary story. That did not get finished. But even though that one wasn't finished, the pony dating sim, after a fashion, it did get finished, but it went through one hell of a process. The big thing with that is I can't really talk too much in detail other than say it did become a new kaigi. It was pretty fun to make. Took a few months to finish that one, but I'm really proud of the way that it came out. So, you might ask yourself, what is the project for this year? Well, the big project is going to be the proper fan fiction-y version of the pony dating sim. It's gonna be my goal. My goal is very simple. I am going to make the longest known feral pony dating sim out there, and that shouldn't be too hard. My only real contenders for right now are Pony Waifu Simulator, which I'm just going to guess is somewhere between 40,000 to 100,000 words. I don't reckon it's really going to get much further than 100,000 words when it's all said and done. And then my other competition, and this technically isn't really my competition, but I'm just throwing it in there because it's brony related. Friendship with Benefits, the first one. Second one's still in development. It will probably not even be finished by the time I finish and publish this game. So I intend to finish and publish this game this year. I may not have quality, but I can get quantity. Now, for Friendship with Benefits, from what I could tell by tearing apart my data files and looking at reviews and such, it's about 330,000 words long, about that. Not sure after the most recent update if that's part of it. It's been a minute since I've really looked at this. But I'm going to go with the assumption that it's 330,000 words long, which means my minimum needs to be 340,000 words long to make sure I technically have the longest one. It's not longest in terms of hours of gameplay, although that will translate to roughly about 34 hours of gameplay. It's about longest in word count. And if, let's say, Friendship with Benefits 2 comes out and it is actually longer, then I will add to this game. There's no problem with that for me. I intend to be the king with the longest freaking pony visual novel, and I will do that. And if anyone wants to try and stop me, let them, because then I'll have content to play. Ha 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 ha! No matter what, I win. But, yeah, so it's not going to be the most complicated thing. I mean, I've literally crapped out 300,000, 400,000 words in about 2 months before. This is going to take a lot longer, sure, but it's doable for me. I can do this. Won't be that hard. The big thing is going to be making sure that I can keep investment. Now, I didn't want to post too much before I was sure I could actually get into this. I'm about 40,000 words down, and I have just finished up the first route, which is going to be not necessarily the most obvious one. It's up to players to pick what route they want to go on, but it was the one I wanted to start with. So after finishing the first route and getting 40,000 words down, I realized this is doable. So the concept. Basically put, this is a pony dating sim where the main character is taking the role of making choices for Twilight Sparkle, or Twilight Starseed, as I guess we're calling her. She will be tasked with basically just finding someone to fall in love with, or if the player really wants to, they can completely reject that and see where that goes. No spoilers. I haven't even written that yet, so imagination. But the first storyline I finished was the Fluttershy route, which I'm still working on the deviations from that route right now, but it does end up in a poly-pony relationship depending on choices. Why? Because I read the Sorcerer, the Wonderbolt, and the Teacher and thought, I like that. But what if I changed it slightly? And then took the good parts of 442 and put that in here, because that author does not understand how love works at all. They probably were a virgin when they wrote it. I am being silly, but just know that if you ever decide to read 442, there are elements that will make you angry. Very angry. So I don't have a lot done right now, but I got enough to say that I am on the right path. This is the year of the pony. This will be pony-related content. Feral ponies, because Lord knows we need them. The first goal, do a fanfic-y sort of story game like I'm doing now. Why? Because that's easier. I have tried. Over the last 3 years, I have tried numerous times to do a single pony dating sim with OC characters only, and have failed to be able to retain investment and make that really work. It has been an uphill battle from hell, but this is the first time I've found one that actually works. Now, the big trick with this one is it's going to be a little bit different than most dating sims you might see. There's not a stable A plot that you will see in every story. Instead, the story that you see will change completely based on your choices. So it will be a very different experience, making replays well worth the, replay. There will probably be about 11 different stories. Maybe just 10 different stories. The harem routes are probably going to be the longest, because those are the hardest ones to do. They take the most amount of work to, make work. But the idea so far is each route will be a minimum of about 30,000 words before you choose a partner. Then a minimum of 10,000 words after that. So every story will have at least 4 hours of unique content centered on that particular story. The Fluttershy route might be a little bit shorter just because it's the first one I made, but it'll be around that when it's all said and done. And then the deviations are going to be a little bit more challenging, but I'll be working on those next. See where those take me. Now, I don't exactly know where everything will go or what stories will be, but I want to focus on the main 6 or main 7, as well as focusing on side characters. So while there will be about 10 different overall stories, there will probably be something like 20 different dateable characters. I am not going to aim to make the most amount of dateable characters because, no. Just no. If it happens, fine, but otherwise, no. Will there be about 50 different characters in this, kind of like Dark Skies had promised? Probably by complete and total accident, yeah. Because you need background characters. I mean, what would Shirley's teacher story be without having an awkward interaction with her drunk sister Berry Punch? It just wouldn't be that fun. So, expect a lot of different characters, a lot of different stories, and a lot of replay value for this one. It is probably going to take all year to really make it. I'm going to see if I can do it faster, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm giving myself about 6 months for the writing. It's not that I can't write, 300,000 words in 2 months. I can. It's that if I do that, it may not be very good. I need to take this a little bit slower than I have some of the other things in the past, because I did go through a whole month of burnout in January where I just had to stop doing anything. Part of that was, and thanks to having everything collapse for a little bit, but this story is going to be one of the big force pushes on my attempt to work on the SFW account, because while I know that the NFSW stuff, the adult stuff, is the only thing that really gets traction, it's not what I want to be my main thing. I like making it. Don't get me wrong. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it. But I started this game making kind of rated T for teen between rated M for mature stories. And that's kind of where I want to stick. I don't really want to go to rated A for adult for everything. That should be more special. And it hasn't been special in a few years. So, gonna take a break from that and make it special again. So I'm not dead, I'm not dying, I'm not gonna completely vanish, but I will be slowing things down. I know that probably not everyone here is actually caring about the games I make, because it's like, this is a weird channel that does all kinds of weird things and there's no consistency, and that's understandable. But I kind of wanted to try a record to do something, because I got some backup footage of things, and there's not really any footage of the game yet because it's just a bunch of text on screen. But we'll see. As things develop, I might do a couple more devlogs. If not, I'll do other video content, because I'm trying to at least do one thing a month. And we'll see where it goes from here. But just want to say, if you're interested in following this kind of game development, or you like pony games or ponies in general, I'll leave a link to my SFW account for you to follow. And spread the word. If you like ponies and you were upset by Dark Skies and you thought Friendship with Benefits was cool, but you would rather have had ponies, that's kind of what I'm here for. Just, spread the word, follow my SFW stuff, follow the other stuff if you want to, and wherever you are, just hope you guys have a wonderful day, and adios.